So the video game Temtem has been out for about 2 weeks at this point, and the question on everybody's mind is Temtem better than Pokemon Sword and Shield? And of course, the answer is complicated. However, I have written out a list of categories and I will be talking about which game does what better, so you just sit back, relax, and let my opinion flow over you until it melds into your brain and becomes your opinion. It'll be great. Now, as the game is, it sort of just ends after the third area, and all there is left to do is grind out Temtems for money and Luma versions. Or, of course, train up the perfect team for when new content is released. So, of course, Pokemon has it beat, right? Pokemon has 24 years of games, an endless amount of Pokemon to catch. Not really, it's like 800. It's a no-brainer. Wrong! Temtem may be lacking a little bit in content, but what it has right now is very strong. And best of all, when it comes to content, Temtem only has one version. It doesn't lock a whole bunch of content behind a second version of the game with very little difference, so that you need to either buy both or have friends. Who the fuck has friends? But seriously, if Temtem plays their cards right, they could be releasing content for years, expand the lifespan of the game by so much, and seriously just wipe the literal floor with Pokemon. So who wins in this category, right? I give it a big old, I don't know yet, a big old to be determined. So Pokemon has its Pokedex. What does Temtem have? Temtem has a Temdeck. It's the exact same thing as a Pokedex, just, you know, instead of Pokemon, it's full of Temtem. If I'm honest, Temdeck is just a better name. Also, every Temtem ever released is in the Temdeck. Can't say that for Sword and Shield now, can ya? So when I say the word Pokemon, one of them probably jumps into your head, like your favorite or one of the big ones like Charizard, Pikachu, Vanillite. But my point is that Pokemon and Game Freak are pretty good at designing interesting and, you know, lovable Pokemon. That's why it's so popular. Because Temtem is a brand new video game, it doesn't have any of those previous legs to stand on. It doesn't have those 24-year-old literal fan favorites to rely on for selling games. And honestly, that's quite refreshing. I love being able to launch the game, go into a brand new area I've never been to, and discover something that I've never even sort of looked at before. All of the Temtems look fairly unique and none of them look boring that I've seen so far. I'm gonna have to give Temtem this point because they didn't just create a Pokemon that looked exactly like Charizard but changed the name and be like, hey look, this is the Charizard of our game. Guys, we're like Pokemon, you know? They didn't do that. They actually made something that is interesting and unique. And they also don't give the Temtems really stupid names like Grookey or Vanillite. Now, it wouldn't be a video about Pokemon versus Temtem if I didn't mention shiny versus Luma hunting. Shiny hunting is a goddamn staple of the Pokemon video games, and of course, it is present in Temtem. In Pokemon, there's a base chance that 1 in 4,000 Pokemon will be shiny. And of course, this doesn't mean that you encounter 3,999 Pokemon and then the next one is guaranteed to be a shiny. That's not how it works. It's more like every time you encounter a Pokemon, the game rolls a 4,000-sided dice, and if it lands on exactly 4,000, then you get a shiny Pokemon. And in Pokemon, there are things you can do to increase your odds of finding a shiny. Catch combos can bring you down to a 1 in 2,000 chance, literally increasing your odds by 50%. Combining this with the shiny charm and battling the same Pokemon over 100 times can bring you down to a staggering 1 in 500 chance, which is absolute child's play when you compare it to Temtem's odds. And of course, in Pokemon, there's also breeding, which you can lower your odds to around 1 in 500 as well, using the Masuda method, which is getting a foreign Pokemon, normally a Ditto, because that thing can fuck anything. Now, when we look at Luma hunting in Temtem, it's like the uglier, older, tougher brother to what shiny hunting is. It's a base chance of 1 in 6,000, so your odds are significantly worse right off the bat, and there's no way to up your chance unless you already catch a Luma Temtem. You get a 1 in 600 chance of getting a Luma Temtem if you breed with 1 Luma Temtem, and those odds go to 1 in 60 if you're breeding 2 Luma Temtem. So who gets this point? Well, shiny hunting for me personally will never be better than it was in Pokemon Let's Go, and that's just literally the peak. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Just seeing those little shiny fucks pop up out of the map and be shiny, oh boy, there's no feeling like that one.
Oh, it's actually a tentacle, isn't it? Come on. Yes!
And it's not quite as grueling as Temtem's grind, but it was worth getting the Luma Ganki, if for nothing else than this clip. I want the tankiest Ganki you've ever seen, Matt. Special defense, and defensor. Oh yeah, duh. Whoa! Oh shit! Oh fuck! Oh wait, my god! I didn't even notice, dude. It's so cool. I saw it out of the corner of my eye. Oh my god, I get to. Oh.
He's the boy.
Oh,
It's the boy.
fuck.
Look at him. It's the boy.
Temtem is Vanillite free, baby. Let's get it. Yeah. Fuck you. So we've done a lot of talking about these two games, but I haven't really compared the meat and potatoes of either game because they're very, very similar. There are a couple of minute, minuscule, miniature, microscopic differences between the two games. In Temtem, every battle is a double battle, and instead of having that terrible PP system, the game has a stamina system. Stamina refills after every fight, every attack uses it, and if you run out of stamina in the middle of a battle, your Temtem will hurt itself. That small change allows for Pokemon to play a million times. Wait, did I say Pokemon? Allows for Temtem to play significantly better than Pokemon, in my opinion, because you don't have to run back to the Pokemon Center to refill your PP after a couple of fights, shiny hunting or whatever. You can just stay in the area, and after every fight, your Pokemon are refreshed with all of their stamina, and that's super convenient. But of course, the biggest change in gameplay and the biggest draw to Temtem at all is co-op online multiplayer. Something Sword and Shield kind of attempted to do as well is add a multiplayer aspect. However, Nintendo couldn't really get multiplayer to work in any of these games, so like why would Sword and Shield be any different at all? Spoiler alert, it isn't. Temtem does what Pokemon probably should have done throughout any of the past 24 years, and nails it. It allows you to partner up with a friend and just finish your adventure in jolly cooperation. I will admit that Temtem has a whole bunch of bugs, especially in the multiplayer aspect, that they could fix, but the team is releasing patch after patch, and they seem to really be working hard, and I respect the hell out of that. So there you have it. That's my comparison of Temtem and Pokemon. I don't know what I'm looking at. Make sure you tell me which game that you like better in the comments, and make sure that you tell me why my opinions are very wrong, because they always are. One like on this video means I will personally open up Pokemon Sword and beat the shit out of a Vanillite. Please subscribe, because I need the validation of others to feel literally anything. Watch more of my videos if you want. I bet that'd be a real good time. I bet you'd have fun. I bet you'd enjoy it. Bye.